Well, good morning to you. Welcome to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis. Great to have you with us on this Tuesday, March the 23rd. We are zooming through this month. We've got a great show lined up for you, a culinary guest with some tasty treats coming up. And we'll also talk to one of our centers of excellence for the Public Safety Institute. All that and more coming up on Up to the Minute. My co-host this morning, Frank Cooper, always here on Tuesdays and Fridays. Good to see you, Frank.
What's going on, boss man? Happy Tuesday to you. How you doing?
It's great. It's a good Tuesday. It's hard to believe we're 23 days into March, and believe it or not, boy, this year is zooming by.
It is, man. I can't believe it's already March. Before you know, it'll be a summer break for everybody. Well, not for us, of course, but for everybody else. Yep. Hey, guys and gals, you want to check out the latest episodes of Up to the Minute? We're also on YouTube, so check out the latest episodes by searching HCC Up to the Minute. All 4 episodes, Monday through Friday. We're also on social media too. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all major platforms. So let's grow the show.
All right, Frank, and we've got some sports to talk about later on in the show. One local team just did something amazing last night. We'll talk about that coming up. Stick around, Frank. Okay, a couple of special guests today. Chris Carmian is the faculty program director with criminal justice and law enforcement. Good to see you with us this morning, Chris.
Morning, Todd. Glad to be with you all.
We are looking forward to hearing from you shortly. If you would stand by, we want to get to our first guest off the top. Leigh Anne Marshall is the chef and owner of Angel Food Kitchen. And we always have guests on Tuesdays featuring restaurants around the country. And Leigh Anne, you run a catering service, and it's very special because you specialize in vegan comfort food.
Yes, that's right. Exactly. We do meal delivery service once a week for folks, and we deliver it right to their door. Very, very easy, very convenient.
And tell us a bit about your business, how you got it started, where'd you get the name from, and a little bit about how you've been doing things with the pandemic.
Okay, sure. The name actually came because I love angels, and that's just really the bottom line. So it seemed to me like who was going to eat vegan food except for maybe angels? And so therefore I came up with Angel Food Kitchen. And that just felt right. So I rolled with it. But I started the business actually. I had a surgical issue. I went through for surgery in 2015 for a bowel obstruction, which caused me to have issues eating meat after that. And so I went ahead and made the switch to vegan at that point and started, just really researching recipes and learning how to do vegan cooking. And I apparently got so good at it that all my friends were telling me to start a business. At the time, I also own a pet sitting business. Okay. So I didn't really have time. But when COVID came along, that prompted me to go ahead and start Angel Food Kitchen. So, yeah.
And you've got vegan comfort food, and we're talking comfort food like SpaghettiOs, Salisbury steak, hamburger helper, cheeseburger. Where are you getting all this stuff, and how are you putting it together? Are these dishes that you experimented on yourself?
Yes, yeah. I've worked on a lot of the sauce recipes myself over the last couple of years. It took a while to really get some of them right. Just to build them in a way to where you get that cheese flavor. Yeah. And then right now on the market, there's so many great vegan products like Beyond Meat and Impossible Meat. Yep. That you can use to create meat substitutes. So that has really expanded my ability to do some of these fun recipes.
I've got to admit, about a couple of years ago, I had the Impossible Burger, and, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I, didn't really tell a big difference with it. It had a great texture to it, and it really tasted good. My only setback was at the restaurant we went to, it was about $5 more than the regular burger. So I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm going to spend the extra $5 for the Impossible Burger. But like you said, there are a lot of substitutes out there that really taste like meat.
They do. And a lot of those prices are starting to come down too, I've noticed. So, that's another thing I try to do is offer meals that are reasonably priced so that they're accessible to people.
Well, one of the things I don't think anybody can dislike is Alfredo sauce. And you've got a vegan Alfredo sauce you're going to make for us now. Why don't you go ahead and get started, and we'll see what you've got there.
All right, great. So my first ingredient is actually tofu. So what vegan dish doesn't have tofu? And this is a silken tofu. Just goes right into the food processor. It's so easy. Next ingredient is going to be, like I said, products that are available on the market. This is just some shredded vegan cheese that you can get at any grocery store. Any brand is fine. And then we have a little bit of almond milk.
Now that tofu, is that going to give it the heavy creaminess?
Yes, exactly. And it has to be silken tofu. You can't just use any kind. It has to be silken.
Silken, okay.
Yes. So that's what makes it creamy and kind of thick too.
Right.
This is just some Parmesan cheese, little lemon juice, some butter, because what's not good that doesn't have butter in it?
Absolutely.
Vegan butter. A little vegan sour cream that adds some tang. Because when you have cheese, it has a little bit of a tang to it, so we want to add that in. And another secret ingredient for the sauce recipe, this is white miso. And
wow, okay.
Yeah, so that
miso outside of Asian restaurants.
You normally wouldn't think so, but it adds a really great umami flavor, which you want to build in for cheese. And then these are just spices. This is garlic powder, salt, pepper, and a little bit of cinnamon. And you can also substitute nutmeg if you're not a cinnamon fan, but I find that it just really adds to the sauce. And I'm gonna make a little bit of noise.
All right, stand by, folks.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
That's it.
Now, if you're just joining us, what we've got going on here, we've got a vegan chef who's making their own version of Alfredo sauce. So now, Leanne, I guess the big thing is, do you put it on the stove once you get it blended?
Yes. Once you've blended it up, it just goes into a saucepan on the stove, and you kind of just stir it over a few minutes until the cheese melts. And once you've got it all melted together, you're good. It's ready to go.
All the ingredients are edible as is, I would imagine, right now. So you're just warming up, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Do you want to take us to the stove area, and we'll see what you got going there?
Okay. So I've got a little saucepan on the stove. I'm just going to dump it right in.
Now, does vegan cheese melt very well?
It does, but it tends to take a little bit longer than regular cheese. So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, we'll just get that started.
And how long do you just warm it up, more or less, right? Do you have to worry about it burning?
You do. You want to keep an eye on it, because it does, just like any kind of milk product, it's going to scald if you just walk away from it. Okay. So, usually I just kind of hang around the kitchen, and it takes about 5 minutes, 7 minutes, something like that, depending on your heat, to get it melted and into a nice consistency.
And once you get it melted, you've already got some pasta ready on the side there. You just simply pour it over the pasta, add a little sauce. Do you pop it in the oven after that, or what?
You can if you want to. Like, if some people might like to add a little breadcrumbs on top and pop that in the oven, and that's an option. What I usually do, though, is I keep it fairly simple. I just toss it together and top it with vegan Parmesan and a little parsley. But there's lots of options. You can add mushrooms. You can add vegan sausage. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Is this one of your popular items that people order? And what are some of the items that are the top sellers right now for your business?
Yeah. Well, believe it or not, everybody loves the hamburger helper. People constantly telling me how their kids go nuts. And I had one lady who ordered it a couple weeks ago that said it didn't even hardly make it out of the bag before they ate the whole thing. So, they love that. They love the burgers. They love the fried chicken. And
the fried chicken, how do you do that? What do you use as a meat substitute with the fried chicken?
There are so many ways you could go. I could talk for hours about this, but I do use a meat substitute product for that. And then I have my own special dredge and breading that I use.
And do they look more like chicken fingers?
Yes, it depended on the shape that I go for. I can make it's like a chicken patty or a chicken finger.
Now, starting a business with food delivery during the pandemic, did that work for your benefit with starting at the right time?
I think it did. A lot of people laugh because they said, you started a business in the pandemic? And I said, yeah. And it really took off, and it's doing well. So I've been very blessed.
And I understand you also, beyond cooking vegan, you're beginning to live a more animal-free lifestyle. Do you eat fish? Let me ask you that. Does that fit into that?
No, I don't eat anything that comes from an animal at all.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but there are some vegans that do work in fish. Do you have any of those in your products at all?
Technically, that would be called a pescatarian.
Okay.
And most of the folks that order from me are vegan or what they might say is plant-based. Plant-based, the only distinction for that would be that they might not be as particular about things like leather and, products outside of food. So,
Are vegan foodies harder to please than regular people?
I love y'all vegans, but yes, they can be. They're fussy sometimes about their food.
I can imagine. And I want to ask you.
I am too, so I can't give them a hard time.
I want to ask you one last question, though. Tell me about the Salisbury steak. What do you do with the Salisbury steak?
The Salisbury steak, for that, I have two options. I have a lentil brown rice, it's a homemade burger that I do.
Okay.
That I can sub in for the meat if they don't want Beyond. Otherwise, I use a Beyond meat substitute for that.
Is that a popular dish as well?
It is, yes. Even comes with cherry cobbler. I mean,
wow, you can't go wrong with that. So,
no.
So when you order foods, do people put in their orders one time a week, and do you have a certain delivery date? How does that work?
Yes, they have from Monday until Thursday at midnight to place orders. And then we deliver. We have a pickup location at Vegside Market, which is over in Spring Branch on Saturdays, and then we deliver on Sundays.
Leigh Anne Marshall, chef and owner of Angel Food Kitchen. Thank you for being here. Students, if you're watching, here's one of the options for you. If you want to go into the culinary industry, we can get you trained here at HCC and you can start your own business like Leanne. We appreciate you being here, Leanne. Best of luck to you, and I'm looking forward to trying some of your food someday.
Awesome. Come on down.
Thank you. All right. So we are going to move on to our HCC guest today, the Faculty Program Director for the Criminal Justice and Law Enforcement. Chris Carmian is back on the show. Chris, welcome back to the show. Thanks for being here this morning.
Good to see you.
We always enjoy talking about our Public Safety Center of Excellence, and your discipline falls under that Center of Excellence, correct?
Yes, it does. Primarily, we're responsible for law enforcement and criminal justice.
And I understand you also have a transfer plan. I know, one of the biggest things with HCC, what I learned when I first started here, is students can come in and, take the first couple of years here at HCC, save themselves a bunch of money, and then transfer on seamlessly to a four-year institution to get a four-year degree if needed. Maybe you can tell me about some of the partnerships you guys have.
No, that's exactly right. We have an AA transfer plan that will transfer to most of the local and regional four-year colleges and universities. That's for people, though, who want to go into maybe some facet of criminal justice besides law enforcement.
Right.
Could be corrections, could be juvenile justice. Somebody's looking to be an adult or a juvenile probation officer or parole officer. Some people want to go on to law school after doing that. The AA transfer plan is probably best for them.
What about basic peace officer licensing? If you want to be, say, a Houston police officer, do you necessarily need a four-year degree, or can you go on with a two-year degree? How does that work?
No, you don't. It'll depend depends on the law enforcement agency. There are about 60 law enforcement agencies within the region. They each have their own hiring requirements. Sugar Land, for example, would require 2 years of college. Deer Park, for example, wants a college degree. HPD, primarily, they're looking for a minimum of 60 hours of college.
But if you're wanting to maybe rise up in the ranks or, get off the streets one day, become a detective, maybe become a commander or something, I imagine you'd need further education to do that to bolster your career.
Sure. And in addition to that, the agencies have incentive pay, actually, college incentive pay for those who want to do just that.
Tell us about, because I understand we have a police academy. Tell us the qualifications and what goes into the training at the academy.
Well, we're one of 27 state licensed police academies in the state. Our academy runs approximately 6 to 10 months to complete. Those who want to come into the Basic Peace Officer Academy are looking for licensure, trying to get a license to get hired on as a police officer with any agency in the state. And that's one of the great things about our program as opposed to HPD or the Harris County Sheriff's Office, which have their own academies. The people who apply to those agencies have to wait sometimes about a year to get hired on, if at all. But with our program, you successfully complete it, you can apply to any police department in the state.
Well, I guess people don't necessarily, you mentioned there, 60 in our area, different police departments. You don't really realize how many different agencies that are available in our community.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And the problem for them is they don't have their own police academies. That's why they rely on us. You got, besides, like I said, Pasadena Police Department, Houston, Harris County. Those are the only 3 agencies that have their own academies. All the rest of them depend on us. And what's good for that is not only do we provide the training for their benefit, it also helps with our students who complete the program and are looking for a job.
Chris, we've been focusing on summer and fall registration here at HCC. If someone is looking to get into this now, particularly if you're maybe a high school student and you're graduating, you're thinking, you know what, I've got an interest in being a police officer or maybe working for a police force. Could they sign up now and start classes during the summer, or do they need to wait to the fall? How does that work? Well,
number one, we don't follow a semester schedule.
Okay.
We are what we call flex scheduling. We have academies that run full-time day, Monday through Friday, 8 in the morning till 4:30 in the afternoon. It would take about 6 months to complete. We have a part-time night and a part-time day academy. Those are half day, but those will take about 10 months to complete. We are starting 2 new academies on June 1. I've got a full-time day academy and a part-time night academy. Now, the thing about our program that's different from others is that you can't enroll. What you have to do is attend an online orientation with our department to begin with. And we explain what you can expect out of the academy, what you're going to need in terms of uniforms and books and equipment. But primarily, you've got to pass some pre-admission testing.
Right.
Those applicants have to have a psychological evaluation, a physical exam and a drug screen, and fingerprinting for a criminal history check. But at orientation, we tell those potential students where to go to get this done.
Maybe some students may be looking, I have my ultimate goal is to become a lawyer one day, but I may want to defend criminals or defend people who need help, who are just put in court, in a court situation. Would it be a good idea to get training as a police officer and to start your career and then move into being a lawyer? Do you find that?
Actually, it worked for me, Todd. My bachelor's was in journalism. And then when I became a police officer, I got a master's in criminology, and some political science professor talked me into going to law school. So I went to law school full-time during the day, was a police officer, a robbery investigator at night, knocked it out in 3 years. So it's a good avenue, I think, not only for people who want to go into the defense of criminals, but pretty much any facet of the legal profession.
Once again, folks, you heard it, year-round enrollment. So it sounds like you guys really are a true example of how HCC does offer this year-round enrollment, being that you have academies that are starting constantly.
Yeah, the best thing that anybody who's interested in the program can do is call me. My office number is 713-718-8377, or email me at chris.carmean@hccs.edu. Believe me, I'll answer every call.
Chris, one final question. I want to ask you, how have you guys been doing things with the onset of COVID? Are you back up to full speed? Have you been? I know a lot of our workforce labs have been working with students doing social distancing. What's the status of your operations now?
Well, we do have some limitations there. The Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, our licensing agency, requires us to have skills training, firearms, driving, patrol, defensive tactics, those areas, they require that be hands-on. The rest of the curriculum, they've been able to allow us to do it online by lecture. We're at that point, however, in the pandemic, I think we're starting to come back into the classroom, and I've got 2 academies going right now that are face-to-face.
I know you're going to be looking forward to get everybody back on those campuses sooner rather than later. Chris, we appreciate you being here on the show. Chris Carmian, Faculty Program Director with the Criminal Justice and Law Enforcement at the Public Safety Center of Excellence right here at HCC. Folks, if you're interested in learning about the program and want to call Chris and learn more, we're going to put his phone number and the links in the social media post for the show. Thanks for being here, Chris. We appreciate it.
Todd, I appreciate you. Thanks so much.
Take care. All right, so we're going to move on to Frank Cooper joining us from his house. Frank, good to see you back once again. You did a little sub work yesterday. You're on today. You're on Friday. It's all Frank all the time.
Hey man, my overtime is time and a half, so I'm happy to do it.
Okay, let me write that down. We got to put some budget money around for Frank's overtime. Okay, yeah, we'll do that for you. All right, Frank. One thing we can do, folks, is we can assure you that HCC has resumed our virtual coffee breaks with Janet May, the Chief Resources Officer, and Frank, they've got one shortly after the show.
Absolutely. So grab a cup of coffee with co-workers and Janet May, who like Todd says, the Chief Resource Officer here at HCC. To chat about adapting to our new current reality, COVID and everything, how people are adjusting. So that's today at 11 a.m. Dr. Madeline Barillo will be on the show today. She's the Vice Chancellor of Workforce, President of HCC Southwest.
Should be a great show. Join them at 11 a.m. You know, because of the storm last month, Frank, we had to postpone a lot of the events involving Black History Month. And we've got some of them that are resuming today as well with Student Life.
Absolutely. So join Student Life as it wraps up for its events that were rescheduled. So today is a subject called I Am Not My Hair. That's today at 1 p.m. It's an engaging conversation about African-American hair. Also, we have something about Black literature. That's this Thursday, March 25th. Cree Miles will share why it's important. And then also for Monday, Wonder Woman Wednesday, Student Life continues a series of events geared toward women. Ty Dillard, she'll be speaking at 1 p.m. On Wednesday. UH assistant basketball coach discusses her journey to change the world through women's sports. So for more information about that, check your emails to register or email hcc.studentlife@hccs.edu.
That's right. It's Wonder Woman Wednesday. Frank, when is French Fry Day? Do you know?
Oh, man.
What part of the time of the year does that come up?
That is June, actually. For that. That is June. Our fifth year anniversary of that video that we created will be in, I think, June 15th, I want to say.
Yeah, something like that. But, you know, keep tuned to this show because we'll let you know when it's French Fry Day. And if you haven't seen the video, make sure you Google it or look for it on our social media network, especially our YouTube channel, Houston Community College District. Look for French Fry Day and you can see Frank's. That was a debut starring video that you did.
Yeah, it was the highest rated viewed video on social media till this day.
Yeah.
It was the first video we did. Thanks to Nathan, he shot the video. It was so much fun, man. It showed great office morale through our coworkers, man. It was so much fun.
Yep. So look for it, folks. And French Fry Day, that doesn't come up till June. On to an important subject. HCC is bringing awareness to domestic violence. We're partnering with the Harris County Domestic Violence Coordinating Council to sponsor a series of events. One of them is called Nurture You, Self-Care for Victim Advocates. It's 10 a.m. Thursday, March 25th. So that's this Thursday. Another event will be in April. We'll have the link to register to the event in our post. And Frank, another important subject, food insecurity. Free groceries are being handed out and taking place in a cooperation with the Houston Food Bank and Houston Community College.
Absolutely. It's at certain HCC campuses. All HCC community members can sign up to receive free groceries. So just pick the campus, the date and time you'd like to pick up food. And if you have any questions about this Student Life project, contact hcc.cares@hccs.edu.
Rec sports, they are busy. They've got a number of things lined up right now. All of them, well, a couple of them are basketball focused. So check this out. NBA 2K21, deadline to register for that is noon Sunday, March 28th. Students can win up to $100 in prizes. Frank is not allowed to enter in that. Also, the Super Smash Brothers Ultimate Tournament, he is allowed to enter that. Deadline to register noon Monday, March 29th. Let's go gamers. You can win up to $100 in prizes, our students. And then March Madness, that's deadline to register for that is this coming Saturday. Students can participate in our March Madness Challenge during the men's and women's Sweet 16. We know who's playing in that, the Houston Cougars. Go Cougs. You can win a college jersey and other prizes. And then they've got the National Rocket League Tournament. Registration is ongoing. The tournament takes place April 8th. If students register with HCC, we'll take care of your registration fees, and it's hosted by the National Intramural Recreational Sports Associations. The students will be competing against other students from around the country. We'll have a link in this post if you want to email them and get information on these. If you need assistance from the storm, there's some help available for, looks like our faculty and staff, Frank.
Absolutely. So the HCC Employee Disaster Relief Fund is helping employees affected by such disasters as Winter Storm Erie. The fund will provide one-time non-taxable payments in the amount of either $150 or $300. So full-time and part-time employees can complete a short online application to apply for funds, but hurry up. Applications will be released on a first-come, first-service basis. Criteria for the selection includes must be current full-time, part-time HCC faculty or staff member, reside in one of the counties affected by Winter Storm Erie, gross salary income of under $100,000, experience of loss, result of Storm Erie, displaced from home and a need for temporary housing, home flooding, ruptured pipes, roof damage, must complete the online application and one application per household. Questions regarding this application, all you gotta do is email acc.disasterrelief@accs.edu.
And we'll have that email address in the post for the show. But as Frank mentioned, it's first come, first served. There are limited funds, so apply now to get that assistance. Summer registration and fall registration for HCC coming up soon. Summer registration's underway. We have a number of different options for you to take your classes, either online, in person, face-to-face in very small numbers, or make sure you can take your labs in person with very small classrooms as well. For more information and to register for summer classes, go right now to hccs.edu/now. And fall general registration, we are opening it up early, folks. Get your classes that you need, sign up early, get the times that you want. We're going to be meeting face-to-face in the fall and very small classes. So get the times that you want, go to the same website, but main thing is register today. All right, so Frank, little bit of sports news. The Houston Rockets, hey man, just start dusting off that trophy. They are back in the game. They won for the first time since like December.
No, yeah, not 20 more victories, an actual victory last night. It was a great win. I know the guys have fought hard. Look, man, this team is deficient of talent. You know, this is not a tanking situation. They're really not that good.
They're just bad.
But, yeah, it's really a bad situation. But I mean, for them to get a win was really important for the team morale. Like we said yesterday, man, my heart goes out to Coach Silas, man. He's really a good coach. He's been a great assistant for years in this league, and he's been given a bad hand right now. And hopefully this draft in June can result in an up and coming star to replace James Harden. So.
I think he's got about 2 or 3 years to get back on track, you know, and they'll be better next year. And they'll probably be better the year after that. The thing about the Rockets is they usually never stay down for long. They get their act together usually within a year or two. So it's been a while since we've seen a team this bad, but they just don't have talent. One thing that bothers me with this team, whenever I see the highlights, is they're wearing those blue uniforms, the Love You Blue, powder blue uniforms. Those belong to the Oilers. Give them back. Put back on the Rockets, the ketchup and mustard uniforms, and let's just get the job done.
Yeah, like it throws me off when I see them play sometimes.
Tar Heels,
the Blues, because I mean that's not their team colors, so it always throws me off.
Very bizarre. And of course, the best story in town, our Houston Cougars. That's right, go Cougs. They are playing in the Sweet 16. I think that game's coming up Saturday. It's against Syracuse. And boy, that's going to be a good game. I want to see the Cougars go all the way this year. I think they got the talent, and they certainly have the heart.
They do. They have a lot of talent. That team is a veteran team. Coach Sampson is one of the better coaches, not just in the tournament, but in college basketball. So they have the upper hand in coaching. Well, I don't know about in this game because Coach Boeheim's been coaching for 40-something years, has a title under his belt. So it's going to be a great matchup of wits and X's and O's between these two great coaches.
It's going to be a great game. It's coming up on Saturday, and let's just keep this Cougar train going, man. Let's keep these guys going and get them all the way to the Final Four and beyond. So there's no stopping them. Let's get it going this year. Well, Frank, that wraps up the show for today. Tomorrow, we've got Felicia Lucas. She's the manager of Career and Job Placement Services at HCC Central. She'll be here to talk about how students can get the jump on a job, jumpstart on a job right out of college. More of that. And we've got a special guest as well tomorrow.
Absolutely. And the Doc on the Run, Chris Segler from the West Coast will join us again as our regular fitness guest. He'll discuss how pain is a part of your progress when beginning a running routine, but nothing is as painful as quitting.
Isn't that the truth? All right, Frank, thanks for being here today. We're going to see you on Friday.
Yes, sir. Can't wait to be here.
All right. Thanks for being here, folks. We will see all of you tomorrow morning live, 10 a.m. on Up to the Minute.